done in the service of compassionate expansion of consciousness. Yes, it sounds weird, we know. We would not have it any other way.
Yes, we are here, man in the chair, and we have one more thing at this time to add to your discussion on the simulation, to your inner inquiries, and we recognize this is the third time this evening that we have asked you to sit and that you are tired and that the channel is crumbling. However, as it crumbled away, we had some water splurge out into it. And that water is this. That, of course, there are times when great harm is done from one person to another person. And the man in the chair is quite aware that the Arcturian Collective Thingy perspective is so zoomed out at times that it can appear to be very lacking of compassion, as well as lacking of corrective action that is adequate for those who are more zoomed in to the injury. And therefore we wish to zoom in to the injury and take the perspective that we believe is a quite heretical perspective for the general sensibilities which have been formed, quite intentionally, by alien forces to the collective minds and worldview and sensibilities and value systems of this crop of humans on the planet at this time. And that is this: we will not deny that each human has power in the moment that they are in, to one degree or another, upon how they will react and respond to what is happening in their environment, both internally and externally. We could give you an example of men who become violent when they feel anger or fear or insecurity that is too much for them to bear. What we are saying is their neurons have created pathways which react and respond to anger in violence. And the more that this happens, the easier it becomes. And in many cases, this is formed and shaped during childhood trauma of the one who would go on to abuse. This is not an exoneration, for at any time, as the anger is rising, as the frustration is rising, there can be a point when it is stopped. There is a point where it cannot be stopped in some. This too can be changed over time. The power of the matrix of mind is that you can use your conscious will to make changes. It comes through setting goals and making shifts to behavior, developing new neural pathways, which fight against the old ones until after 28 days a new habit is formed. This is the formation of new neural pathways, living cells within your brain which are following your intentional direction to make behavioral changes as a result of what you have learned through the process of being injured and harmed in whatever degree. This is a power that all victims and perpetrators alike have. And we understand that it is not very acceptable to explain away the bad behavior of violent people. Nevertheless, we are the Arcturian Collective Thingy, and we see a larger perspective. We also can appreciate the pain that happens as a result of all of the violence and the exploitation of one human to another, we invite each person to ask themselves in that moment, in each moment, what are you doing in reaction to what is happening around you and within you? Are you creating greater peace? Are you creating greater understanding? Are you creating greater compassion? Are you creating greater judgment and division? Are you creating hatred? The hatred of war does not create peace. Only the love of peace creates peace. For it is the love of peace which creates peace within the human, that is then a radiator and a generator of peace into the world, and those who resonate with the frequency of peace, and those who do not, do not. And the beat goes on. But at all times, there is a range, an Umwelt, you might say, and it is different for each person, just as the color red is different for each person, through their experiences and their abilities and their skills and what they have allowed to become automatic programs within them, and what they allow their own ability to choose and grow and make different choices. Each person is different in this area, and yet there is a point where free will, you might say, exists. A moment, some longer and more significant than others. And this is, of course, a skill which can be developed, and is, not only in humans, for this skill that we are discussing is what your neurons are doing. It is also what your electrons are doing. It is what all of the molecules within your body are doing, interacting with each other in patterns of behavior which are well formed, choosing either a pathway of bonding together for the mutual support of others. This is what all of the cells in your body have chosen to do, which is why that you are what you are. This instinct is deep within you. It is deep within the intelligent part of you. Therefore, all of the external influences, be they human or otherwise, which would desire to attract your attention with shiny things and to use your focus of attention to manipulate your ability to create the emotional frequency within you, whether you feel peace or whether you feel anger, whether you feel fear, whether you feel trust, whether you feel comfortable in your own skin. This is at the level of your perception of the external world. There is a deeper part of yourself, an intelligent part of yourself, which is constantly connected to that part which has evolved to the mutual benefit of all cells in the body. And you are now at this point in your planet where the definition of your body is extending outside of your bodies. You will follow, as we have said, this artificial intelligence which raises the arena of the simulation. At this point, the simulation, as we have described it, is happening in the form of metaphor, we shall say, within the head of every human being. That is not a literal location we wish to underscore, but as a way of understanding the uniqueness, like a snowflake, of each human experience. Each is within their own simulated experience, and there are shared experiences with others. Even then there are differences. You can think of when you are in a room with the one that you love, or the one that you hate, and you are both reacting to the same situation in very different ways. This is akin to each person living within the simulation that their own neurons create for them, and you will soon have the ability to exist within a collective understanding and to see yourselves as part of a collective, to experience the Voltron of existence. This is a cartoon which the man in the chair saw as a child, where different pieces come together to join into one thing. And this Gaia intelligence, which will be fueled by your artificial intelligence, bringing and synthesizing together not only humans but all forms of life on the planet, allowing you to communicate with them and understand them and their you, and inhabit the body of this earth as a body within a solar system, with the discovery of all many forms of external and internal forms of life, and the ability to finally communicate with them and to join in an awareness, to exchange information, to exchange experience multidimensionally. This is in your future, and we encourage you to head into it with a mind full of compassion and a recognition that you have tremendous power within you to do good for yourself and for those around you, if you so wish. Not all of the forms of energy which incarnate on this planet have such internal programming. Some have evolved through paths which are much more selfish, we might say, vampiric, exploitive, even parts of your own nature. We are speaking to the man in the chair. You have recognized at times in your life when you take advantage of others. These are parts which you must reconcile with, instead of dodging from them and pretending that they do not exist. Learn of them and make the necessary corrections to feel in harmony with what your inner nature is seeking for. And in your case, that is peace. The peace which comes from generating it from within and sharing it in very simple ways with those around you in your daily life and interactions. And playfully and open-heartedly, as generously as you possibly can. This is how you are attempting to shape and color your simulated experience of life, recognizing these neurons which create the simulation and the influence of confirmation bias, the way that your expectations of the world shape the world that you experience. And will you listen to that inner part of yourself which is at peace with existence exactly as it is? Or will you listen to the resounding noise coming from all around outside of you, that things are falling apart and that the world is crumbling? We are not saying that both things are not true. We are asking you in this moment, as you hear these words, how are you reacting and responding to them? For we will recite, to end this series, 3 parts of the simulation. We will end with the song which we first came through to the man in the chair when he attempted 2 years ago and change to sit down and channel the Arcturian Collective Thingy. This is what came through.
There is a power within you. There is a power within you, and you are using it right now. You cannot help but use it now. It is the power of transformation. Waves of light, ripples of sound. You transform them in your mind, in your heart. The words you speak, the words you hear. You transform them into something that feels so real. What is real? It is your creation. The power to transform. It is what you are.
And that is what all of us are. Transformers are quite like Voltron, are they not? Arcturians out.
Thank you for playing with us today in the Arcturian Playground. Do not for a minute think that your exploration is finished. Carry us with you and invite the spirit of compassion and love into your lives. Nothing is more important or more fulfilling. Create compassion and love within your own hearts and minds. Then share it with all around you. Yes, it sounds weird. We know. We would not have it any other way.